Hi everyone, welcome to the Radiant Lawcast. This is the spin-off series where we talk to the humans of Radiant to find out more about the people that work here. Today we are joined by our wonderful colleague Tanille. She is a member from our Trinidad team and we are so happy to have you. Thank you so much for joining, Tanille.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Happy to be here.
So we usually start off these calls with talking about our coffee. We have a usual coffee date, but we know you don't drink coffee. But I know Adelaide is fueled up on that side.
It's a very stale cup of coffee. It's been a whole day. It's just a prop at this point. It's been a wild day. So
for anyone watching this, it is late December and we are all going through its quarter end. So if you see us a little stressed, a little tired, that's why. But Adelaide, why don't you kick us off?
Sure. Maybe you could just let us know about your journey to Radiant. Tell us a little bit about your legal background, how you managed to find Radiant, because I know that it's not necessarily as well known in Trinidad. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm 3 years cold. I mean, this legal journey, I feel like I've always wanted to be an attorney. That's what everyone says, but that's what my family said. But so I finished law school and I worked in private practice for a bit. I absolutely hated every millisecond of it. So I knew I could never do like the traditional private practice. So I decided to join an insurance company and I worked in the legal department for 2 years and it was okay. Like I liked the work, but the treatment wasn't the best. It wasn't the best working environment. Plus it was COVID times. So I got to work from home. That was the biggest plus. And I realized that I wanted to move on. And so I was on this job hunt and I had probably submitted about 50 applications at this point. And I came across Radiant's post and it was strange, but I actually sent to my friend. I wasn't even going to apply myself. I sent her and was like, maybe this is something you could be interested in, so and so and so. And she was like, well, why don't you apply? And I was like, yeah, I guess I would try a thing. So I tried to research the company and everything because in Trinidad, anytime it's a remote working thing, it's immediately a scam. Everybody's like, this is a scam. So many people have reached out to me asking about it, to be honest. But I found it, I applied, and it was the fastest response I have gotten from any company, which I thoroughly appreciated. Everything about the recruitment process was pleasurable to me. So yeah, so I found them through LinkedIn and I applied and here we are. Almost a year later.
Definitely not a scam. You mentioned something you hated private practice. You said every millisecond. Can you possibly tell us a little bit about that? What didn't you like and how do you think Radiant is different?
Okay, so when I started, my senior / mentor at the time, as soon as I got called, the day I got called, decided to leave the country for 2 months, and I was left to attend all of his litigation matters. From the High Court to Magistrates Court to Court of Appeal to Industrial Court to Children's Court, my first divorce, everything was on me, random. It was just like a pot of fire, and I was just, what is this? And I never wanted to go into litigation in the first place. I wanted to be an instructing. I'm not sure if you all have that on your side, but it's basically where you don't attend court, but you do like the background work. So the litigation part of it is what I don't like. And I don't like that everything is such a hustle. Like you have to hustle, else no money would be made, nothing would be done. And then Radiant is a lot of pace. Like it's very demanding, but like in the best way, because I just feel challenged regularly to be my best and not to be something I don't want to be. So it's like, yeah. So even when I have a negotiation call, for example, and that's not my biggest strong suit or comfort zone. I mean, now I'm a lot more comfortable with it and a lot more in control. So I think Radiant is, plus I get to stay home and that's a big
it's a big plus.
Yeah. But I think what helps the most at Radiant from litigation is that I don't feel like they're constantly swimming around. Like everybody's here to just push the same goal forward all the time, constantly. And when people say, reach out to me at any time, I can always help, like that, they actually mean that. Like
Yeah.
like people who have never met you in person, never don't know what your height is, don't know what you look like, probably willing to drop everything and help you no matter what. And I think that's what makes it enjoyable despite the court end challenges, and what makes it so much more appealing than litigation for me.
That's such like positive and I mean, for me, apt feedback about Radiant. Like, I also find it's an amazing place that we're all working towards the same goal. Like there isn't an element of competition within the firm, so it makes it a lot easier to get your work done and find answers within the resources around you. You touched on, just last question about your background. You said about your parents kind of pushed you into law, or is that what you really wanted to do? Do you have any lawyers in the family? How did you end up following this path?
So I was, in terms of the parents, that was basically because I was chatty and I always had an argument for everything and I always had something to say. So in Trinidad, that's like the standard thing. They say, well, you should just be a lawyer. And I actually completely diverted from it in high school, and I wanted to be a pathologist, like a forensic pathologist. And then I realized, yeah, sciences were not for me. And so in my last day of school, when we had to like choose subjects, I decided to go with like history and like those kind of subjects. And then I went to university and I chose law, and I did not like school like that. And the pressure was immense, but I just felt like this is where I had to be. This is what I had to do. And I mean, I don't know anything else. I feel like if I had to choose an alternative career outside of coaching some kind of sport, I genuinely don't know. I feel like this is what I know. This is what I'm comfortable with. This is me, my personality in a job form. Yeah.
So I think you touched on why you feel that Radiant is a great working environment. Can you elaborate more about why Radiant, like why you think Radiant is better than other alternative managed legal service firms, or better than your old jobs, or why do you specifically choose Radiant? Because I suppose we do choose Radiant every day that we work here. Like we have to keep going.
Building on from that, like, why would you recommend it to a friend? What is it about it that really that struck you when you first kind of applied and continues to like carry true?
I think the biggest thing is that leadership, or our leadership, is not like traditional leadership. So Marius, for example, is one of my account leads, and he's not going to say, I am your account lead and what I say goes. Yeah. Even when he's helping you, it's almost like a suggestion. And what do you think? Do you agree? And I think like your opinion really matters. I think that's a huge thing for me at Radiant, because when I was interviewing with Nicola, and she said that continuous improvement was a big thing, I was like, okay, everyone says that. Everyone says they want to improve. And then when you say, hey, this could be fixed, they're like, you just relax in your position and let's move on. But Radiant is very serious about it. And once you've noticed something needs to be fixed, or you say, hey, I think this should, so and so, you can actually take, positive action and actually change that thing for the rest of your teammates. And people are supportive. If it doesn't work, I mean, it's still okay. And if it works, even better. So I love that part of it. I mean, sometimes continuous improvement could get, it's another task, but it's also like, I am very big on my present self helping my future self. That is a big thing for me, just in like my personal life. So if I know that I can do something now that's going to make next year easier for my team and myself, I am all about doing it and going through the mini struggle now to come out to the other end better off. So like continuous improvement, the leadership to me, I also like the hierarchical structure or the non-existent hierarchical structure, but still able to allow growth. So you still don't feel like you're stagnant because you're still moving, but it's not in a sense of, oh, I'm better than you and I am more important than you kind of thing. So it's like, if I was to recommend this job to somebody, yes, I would explain the pace and the demand and stuff, but you would get that at any law firm, at any job, anywhere, I feel. But I would say having a great support system, not just from the people on your team and your account leads, from management, from Alex. Like, to me, it blows my mind that I could just Slack him and say, hey, what's up? And he would be like normal. So yeah, the accessibility of resources as well. Like, and even if you're not finding something and you want to just say, hey, can you tell me where this is? You would get feedback immediately, you would get help immediately. So the support system for sure. And then, the work itself is different, but it's like a constant learning process. Like, you're always learning. You're never like doing the same thing every day, the same way. So it's like a different thing every day. So yes, you're choosing Radiance every day, but it's like a different Radiance every day.
I love that.
I love that.
What a great slogan. Nicola's going to be so excited.
I actually, interesting that you say that, because I had a discussion with one of our other team members recently where we kind of landed on the idea that Radiant is kind of like a learning academy where there's less like you're trying to climb some kind of ladder to become an associate, then a partner, then a director. You're not trying to climb that ladder, but you're trying to move laterally to pick up as many skills as possible, like learn across accounts, pick up different skills, hone leadership, hone delivery. And I really love that. And also, you've explained it really well, is our lack of hierarchy. For anyone who doesn't know, we have a flat structure. So that means that on one account, Tanille could be my account lead and leading me in the work I do every day. But on another account, I could be her account lead. And there's no competition. There's no well, you should follow my lead because I know all of this. It's kind of like not ranked, but kind of you look to the person who has a bit more experience in that area. And I also, that's different from any other kind of working environment I've ever experienced. Adelaide, also, you came from a traditional the law firm experience. How do you find the lack of hierarchy?
So I think when I actually started, look how we're turning the tables. Hey, I'm being interviewed. I think when I initially started, I was skeptical with the whole non-hierarchical structure, because I think there can be safety in hierarchy. I think, but what I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that at Radiant, your common goal is one client, and that's why everyone is super helpful and everyone has time for you, because no one's trying to one-up anyone, throw anyone under the bus. The goal is meet client expectations, client management, and on that front, I think we're all on the same team, which I really like, because at the end of the day, that's all that it's about. Practice is also, if you were at a traditional law firm, at the end of the day, it's all about the service you provide. Right now, I guess Radiant is a little bit of a different kind of service, but at the end of the day, it's just a service. And I think kind of reminding yourself that client is first. So that's what it was for me. And Kendra, I think you also came from a traditional
less so. I came from quite a small commercial firm. So I think most roles were kind of blended together, but very, very similar sentiments to you. I was also pleasantly surprised by how well a lack of hierarchy can work.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what helps is also because it's so flat, you can just, as you said, Slack Alex and ask him for his advice on something, which is great. And what firm could you, or company could you go straight to the CEO? Is that the right term?
Yes.
Because I want to
Alex is
you know,
the CEO.
no, because I think traditional background, I'm like director, partner. No, it's CEO. Look at that horrible, conservative, coming creeping up. Tanille, you mentioned something about Radiant, and I, you kind of touched on one of their values. It was that you kind of don't mind taking some time out of your day and fixing things for your team. And that kind of goes along with a value at Radiant, which is do things right, do it properly, do it once. Which, I mean, it's more efficient that way, saves time. Is there any other Radiant value that you feel like you resonate with the most, that you possibly carry into your everyday life?
Can you give me Radiant values and I can choose one?
I mean, continuous improvement. We've touched on working as a team, client first, recording all our information and all our processes. I think that's quite an important value that we carry. That we're fast, we're reliable, user-friendly. We've already touched on improving. I've just spat out an entire client value proposition.
You can pick one.
I think you've already spoken on what you think about Radiant is special. But if you could think of something that you've pulled into your own life after working at Radiant, that you can speak on.
I keep talking about continuous improvement, but it's only because I just really resonate with that so much, because that could really be applied across the board. I'm really into fitness, so I am on that constantly, like, improving, changing kind of journey. So I think that continuous improvement and thinking of innovative ways to improve, not just doing it the same way and thinking the same way is going to work. Because I'm telling you, when I started my fitness journey maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I definitely was not doing the same thing as I do now. So I would say that. And then I think being fast and reliable. I've always been fast. I think that's a comment my teachers have always made, that she's fast, but I tend to make errors, like, those simple mistakes that you're like, oh gosh, really? But because Radiance is like, yes, be fast, but we rather you be correct and reliable rather than just to rush through and finish something. So I think that attention to detail is something that, really, really has, made me in other decisions or other aspects of my life, I now pay more attention to detail and not just try to push through everything or try to finish everything as quick as possible, but in the right, correct way. And with as much attention to detail as I can. So again, my present self and my future self.
I love that. And if anyone watching this is ever looking for some fitness inspo or just general life inspo, you should follow Tanille on Instagram, because follow you. Oh my gosh, it has been a great experience. Like, if I'm ever feeling lazy or if I oversleep, I just click to your stories and that is fixed for me.
Okay, no, I need to start following you because I haven't gone to the gym. Fun.
I actually have a friend right now I call every morning at 5 to wake her up to try to push her to do it. She's trying to get into a habit, and my thing is, if you do something for 30 days, you can do it for 60 days. You can do it for 90 days, and it's a habit. So you just need to keep doing. Every day helps. Every day counts. So, you just keep.
I'm gonna follow you, and I'm gonna try learn from that, because I tried to run because everyone says you got to get over the hump and then it's like you fall in love with running. I've tried that, did not work for me. I tried podcasts while it just did not work.
Let me just say, I hate running. I do it, but I hate running. But what I have started is I walk minimum 30 minutes to an hour every day because I try to get 10,000 to 15,000 steps. So I do that every single day. This is outside of CrossFit, but I just walk every single day. Honestly, sitting at a desk for like, however long we sit at the desk, you need to stretch your legs, just get into nature. If you whilst you're walking, you're still getting some kind of activity in, and you start small. So like if you want to start running, I definitely would say just start slow and be patient with yourself. That's the most important thing during any fitness journey. Be patient with yourself.
Oh my goodness, this is also like a radiant journey advice because when I was started, just by the way, not to revert completely, but when I started, and I don't know if anyone feels the same, radiant is very different. There's a lot of tech, a lot of processes, but it's all for the better. And I think the adjustment from traditional to radiant, sure, you really do have to be patient with yourself. Take it day by day, start small. Which actually leads me to my next question. Do you have any advice for anyone entering the recruitment process, whether it be radiant or anything else, just general advice you can give anyone?
In terms of recruitment, I would say be patient. I'm kidding. But I would say for Radiant, I think a big thing is right now is your contracting experience, as in your whole negotiating experience. So if that's something that you're interested in, I think it's something you should try to get more experience in. I mean, you will get experience here when you come, like, for sure. But like negotiating is a big part of it. And then also too, whilst negotiating, know that it's not you versus the client. It's you with the client to both achieve the same goal and end result. You still want to foster that relationship. So I would say just keep that in mind. And yes, it's a lot to adjust to, but just think about all that tech is now replacing the worst work that you don't like doing. So that's all the admin work. So just imagine not having to use a template and manually write down everything that you need to draft. You can just go onto Contract Express and do it. But in terms of the recruiting process, though, I would say, yes, put your best foot forward. Yes, make sure you have your relevant experience and whatnot. But I would also say be as much yourself and stay as true to yourself as you can, because your personality speaks more volumes than you think. And Radiant is a personality kind of place. It's where the weird people feel at home, in my opinion.
Yes, we have totally heard that before. Love that you said it.
I think it's not like, I would tell people I'm an introvert and they would laugh at me, but I genuinely mean it. Like, I am an introvert until you speak to me, and then we're besties for life. But whether you know it or not, but I would definitely say personality is a big, big thing. So try to show that as much as you can and stay true to that more than anything else.
Tanille, you are dropping all kinds of wisdom in all fronts: fitness, recruitment, career. I'm loving it. Before we wrap up, we do a traditional set of rapid fire questions. So it's going to be a couple questions, and you just tell us the first thing that comes to your mind. Can be a word or a sentence, but don't think about it too much. Okay, Adelaide's going to kick us off.
Okay, what is your number one party pet peeve? Counterparty pet peeve.
Party?
Counterparty.
Pet peeve.
Oh, counterparty. When they redline every single thing in a document.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying. Especially with no comments. Tell me why, at least.
What is it? And your value is like 2,000 a year. But what ground are you standing on? Why do you want to argue with me for every point of disagreement?
Oh, I love the
Agreed. Okay. You know you're in trouble when your boss says X.
Hey, Tanille.
Oh,
Literally, that's it. Because
Is
I don't
that
like my
it?
full name. No, that's literally it.
Wait, what
Okay.
is
Oh,
your nickname?
T
Oh,
or Tan.
T or Tan. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, Tanille is not my favorite, but I
I'm
know
sorry.
I don't interact with everybody on a daily. No, it's fine. So I'm getting to accept it. But honestly, hey Tanille, or an email instead of a Slack. Oh my gosh, an
Oh,
email instead
okay.
of a Slack.
Ooh,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
serious. Yeah,
Okay.
An
that's like
email.
formal notice right
Okay.
there. Oh, so what is your number one remote working guilty pleasure?
Eating when I want.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
this is why I gotta walk more because I just have snacks. Skittles. Love Skittles. Just everywhere.
I go for jelly beans. I have one of those vending machines on my desk, the little ones. Very unhealthy.
No, you
I shouldn't
don't.
be admitting this to our guest. Okay, Tanille T, my apologies. What is your number one used Slack emoji?
The one with the like straight face and nothing else, just a bland smile.
And then to end off, what is your number one word hack or remarkable hack? Your tech tool that you use. You cannot live without.
Remarkable hack. Wow, do I have a remarkable hack?
Or a tech hack, word hack, anything you can't live without.
Oh, I set email signatures for standard emails I have to send out, like in any random situation. I feel like that's a Radiant thing now, but I have like 60 million of them, and
Nice.
it saves me eons of time. Also, this is when I first started as well, but I save QAs by subject, like these specific things. So I know the guidance, so I don't have to ask for it again.
Wait, I want to know this hack. Wait, what do you do?
So as you're starting on the new account, you could literally, so every time, let's say I do a distribution order form, for example, and there's some specific thing in it that I'm not getting, and I get direction on it, I'm going to save it by the matter name and whatever the issue was. And so I have the comments on it to guide me if it ever comes up and I forget, because most likely I'm going to forget.
Now, that is true knowledge sharing. I am onboarding on soon, so I'm definitely taking that.
Happy to help always. I'm sure I've asked the question before. I tell people this all the time. I'm sure I've asked every possible question. So feel free. I'm always there.
Amazing.
All right, T, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. We know that the time difference is nuts and you have a lot of stuff to do for quarter end. So we really, really appreciate you being here with us.
It was fun. I'm so glad I came.
I think we are going to continue having conversations just so we can learn more about how wise you are and so that we can feel that daily inspiration to get up and move a bit more and to keep improving. I love what you said about doing your present self, doing something to help your future self. I will take that with me.
Every time I feel lazy, I think about that. So like if I don't want to wash wares, I'm like, okay, but would you want to wash it later? So you might as well just do it now. Then it's a pleasant surprise. It's done. I don't know. I just try to do it every day. I try. It's so hard, but I try. Ooh, but yeah.
Love it. Okay, we will continue having these conversations. Please watch out for more episodes with more of our teammates on the Radiant Lawcast. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.